Good evening, everyone. This is Vicki Simons with TruckDriversMoneySavingTips.com, and tonight I'm in a different location. I am standing in front of a vision board on the wall in the living room of my husband Mike's home here, and I wanted to let you know that this is going to be very important to my discussion tonight. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to put those below or to contact us through TruckDriversMoneySavingTips.com, and I'll get back in touch with you as soon as I can. Okay, so the question that I have to ask about Truck Drivers Futures is, what is your life going to look like in 5 years, 10 years, and beyond? Okay, what do you want for it to look like? Okay, I know that it can be difficult when you are driving a truck for a living to even think that far in advance. Sometimes you may be just wondering, well, what about the next load? Okay, and let me give you a tip about that too. If you are a company driver, your loads are probably going to be pretty much determined by your trucking company. But the fact of the matter is that you do have some control over who it is that you work for. And if you are going to be driving on the basis of freight rates, there are places online where you can find out where in the country those freight rates are better. Or you can find out what kinds of trucks and what kinds of rigs pull the kinds of freight that pays the best. Okay, so in that particular case, you can do something to help increase your income. But what I'm talking about tonight is more than that. Okay, what I'm talking about is perhaps, your career in trucking, or if you want to have something beyond trucking, what is it that you want for your life to look like? And regardless of what it is, you want to do some planning. Okay, so for example, one of the tips that I've discussed in the past is talking with your driver manager about the kinds of loads that you're getting. Okay, or if you want to be utilized better, or if you want to do different kinds of runs with your company. I know that in the past, when my husband was driving for a large southeastern trucking company, he kept telling his driver manager that he wanted to have loads that went west. He knew that there were loads that particular trucking company had that went west of the Mississippi, but they would never send him there. And the thing about it is if he was going to be staying with that company for any length of time, he was probably going to be asked to move to a different driver manager's fleet so that he could get better loads. Okay, loads that went west of the Mississippi, and it'll allow him to be able to do that better. Let me share with you a quote from a guy by the name of Jim Rohn. He has passed on now, but he is a business expert, or he was a business expert, and a lot of people, including myself, have used his philosophy, still learning from his philosophy. You can find a lot of his quotes online. Jim Rohn, the last name R-O-H-N, and he said this: if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Okay? Consider for a moment, and I realize that there are some drivers who's going to be watching this video later. The only reason why you got into trucking is because you couldn't find another job. Okay? You went ahead and you got trained on how to drive because you got basically whacked out of some other job or industry. Okay? We happen to know, my husband and I have a personal friend who is a mechanical engineer by trade, and he was in a situation in 2007 where he could no longer work in that, and then the recession of 2008 rolled around, and he has not been able to find a job in mechanical engineering since then. And the thing about it is it has been very depressing for him, but he's been trying to do a little of this and do a little of that to scrape by ever since. And of course it's been 9 years. But the thing about it is I realize that sometimes we don't get a choice, okay, on how we want to design our life. But I want to encourage you to think about this. Okay, if you want to have more miles in trucking, assuming that you have the hours of service to run it, okay, if you're being underutilized, then speak up. Some time back, my husband was working for what was then called one of the 20 top companies, trucking companies in the United States. And they routinely underutilized him on the weekends that he was out on the road. They would not bring him in on the weekends, even though there was a terminal nearby. And the fact of the matter is, he wasn't with that trucking company very long. Okay, he didn't know to ask them before he got hired on, are you going to utilize me on those weekends when I'm going to be out on the road? You may or may not have seen this pin that I've been wearing on my shirt almost every time I've been making a Facebook Live broadcast since the middle of July, but it says, Own Your Life. Own your life. A lot of truckers do not have the freedom to own their life. Now, if you're an independent or an owner-operator, you have the freedom to be able to say which loads you want to take and which loads you don't. However, it is the case with a lot of company drivers. You have to go where the trucking company sends you. You have to take the loads that the trucking company assigns to you unless there's just something impossible, okay? And there could be any number of situations like that. However, I want you to think outside the box with me for a little bit. Is there something else that you want to reach toward? Okay, and the fact of the matter is, if you are, as a trucker, you do not have the freedom for the most part to go and just interview anywhere you want to. Okay, you can go ahead and try to get there on your time off when you're at home or wherever it is that you're going, but that may not work with the company that you're driving for, their plans. Okay, so one of the things that we have as an option through our website is some information about how drivers can earn a second income while they are still employed as a truck driver. You can learn more about that through the second income page on our website. But it may be the case where you simply need to start thinking outside the box about what it is that you want to do long term. Okay? Let me allow you or suggest that you think outside the box, that you think big, start to dream again. Okay? Behind me, like I said, is a vision board. My husband Mike and I put this together, and it concerns a charity or a charitable organization that helps to support children and others in Asian countries. And that is our vision, to want to be able to support these folks better, to be able to provide for their needs. That is our vision. You have to have a vision too if you're going to be striving to do anything. Okay, what is your why? Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? And the fact of the matter is, your why could be completely different. The reason why you're doing it, it could be for children or a spouse or your larger family or your church or some other charitable institution. It could be an educational institution. Some people cannot dream of anything other than driving a truck. And if that is your dream and you're doing it, great. Stay there. My husband and I like to use the word legacy. Okay, what kind of a legacy do you want to leave? Okay, is your legacy, for example, a website with all of your raves and rants from trucking? Okay, I read an article today, actually it was posted on Facebook first is where I found it. Particular driver who was in charge, or at least helped to spawn a large truckers outreach website. He had some sort of a medical emergency behind the wheel of his truck, ended up crashing into a house and died. Okay, so we never can plan things like that, but you can start to lay the groundwork for some sort of a change if you want to. Trucking is the 8th or 9th deadliest occupation in the United States. Okay, that's a fact. Okay, and depending on whose statistics you look at, you can look that up for yourself. But we do have a page on our website called Death and Dying. And I would encourage you to start dreaming big again. What do you want your life to look like in 5 years, 10 years, and beyond? Wish you, as always, safe travels and lots of money-saving opportunities on the road. Get in touch with us if you need our help. Have a great night. Thanks for all you do, professional drivers.